This is the news the bandits never saw coming. And frankly, it is the news every patriotic Nigerian has been waiting for since the horrific reports started filtering in on Tuesday night. Today, Friday, February 6, 2026, marks the end of the soft-touch approach in the North Central. The Commander-in-Chief, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has finally drawn a red line in the sand, or should I say, in the forests of Kwara State. If you are one of those criminal elements hiding in the bushes of Kaiama, thinking you are untouchable because of the terrain, I have bad news for you. The president is not just concerned, he is reportedly furious, and he has matched his anger with the heaviest military hammer available. We can officially confirm today that a full army battalion has been ordered to deploy immediately to Kwara State with a specific mandate: crush the bandits, wipe out the terror cells, and restore order to Kaiama local government area. This is not a drill, and this is not one of those audio promises we used to hear in the past. This is Operation Savannah Shield, a brand new military onslaught designed to turn the hunters into the hunted. But to truly understand the magnitude of this deployment and why the president is reportedly in a rage, we have to go back to the tragic events of earlier this week that triggered this massive response. What happened in Woro and Nanku communities on Tuesday night was not just a bandit attack, it was a massacre that shook the conscience of the nation. Let's break down the gist of this tragedy because the details are heart-wrenching. On Tuesday evening, around 5 p.m. to 6 p.m., while families were preparing for evening prayers and dinner, a horde of gunmen, described by witnesses as numbering in the hundreds, descended on Woro village in Kaiama. These were not just cattle rustlers looking for cows, these were killers looking for blood. Survivors who managed to escape into the bush have been sharing their stories, and it is the stuff of nightmares. They described a siege that lasted for over 10 hours. 10 hours of shooting, burning, and screaming without immediate help. The village head of Woro, Chief Salihu Umar, suffered a personal tragedy that represents the pain of the entire community. The gunmen didn't just attack random houses, they went straight for the palace. They set the palace ablaze. In the chaos, they killed 2 of the chief's sons right in front of the house. As if that wasn't evil enough, they abducted his wife and 3 of his daughters. Can you imagine the trauma? A traditional ruler, a custodian of our culture, forced to flee into the night while his family is torn apart. This is the level of disrespect and cruelty these bandits have descended to. The death toll is staggering. While the governor of Kwara State, AbdulRazaq, initially confirmed 75 deaths during his assessment visit the other day, the Red Cross has come out with a much grimmer figure. According to the Kwara State Secretary of the Red Cross, Baba Omo Ayediji, the body count has risen to over 162 human beings, fathers, mothers, children, wiped out in a single night. This makes it one of the deadliest attacks in Nigeria in recent months. It is this figure, this sheer loss of life that reportedly snapped something in Aso Rock. When President Tinubu received the briefing from Governor AbdulRazaq yesterday in Abuja, sources say the mood in the villa was electric. The president described the attack as beastly and cowardly, but more importantly, he identified the motive. The presidency released a statement suggesting that these villagers were targeted because they refused to accept the extremist ideology of these terror groups. This is a crucial point. We are no longer just dealing with bandits who want money, we are seeing a convergence with terrorist groups like the Lakurawa and Boko Haram elements who are trying to radicalize our rural communities. The people of Woro stood their ground. They rejected the weird belief of these criminals, and they paid the ultimate price. This is why Operation Savannah Shield is different. This is not a police operation. A full army battalion consists of hundreds of soldiers, typically between 600 to 1,000 troops, equipped with heavy weaponry, armored personnel carriers, and logistical support units. By deploying a battalion, Tinubu is effectively declaring war on the forests of Kwara. The mandate is clear: go into the bush, find the camps, and do not come back until they are destroyed. We are talking about a saturation of the area. The soldiers are not just going to sit at checkpoints on the road, they are going to take the fight to the enemy's doorstep. And this is where it gets interesting for us watching the security situation. Kwara State has always been seen as the gateway between the north and the south. It was relatively peaceful compared to Zamfara or Kaduna, but in 2026, we have seen a shift. The bandits, squeezed by military operations in the northwest, have been migrating downwards using the vast forests that link Niger State, Kwara, and Benin Republic border. They thought Kwara would be a safe haven. They thought they could operate in Kaiama without consequences. They were wrong. The governor of Kwara State has been on the ground, and you have to give him credit for not hiding in the capital. He went to Kaiama, he met with the emir, Alhaji Mauzu Shehu Omar, and he looked the survivors in the eye. He promised them that the federal government would step in, and less than 24 hours later, the troops are moving. This coordination between the state and federal government is what we have been asking for. No blame games, just action. But let's pause for a second. If you are enjoying this breakdown and you want to keep getting the real, unfiltered news about what is happening in our country, please, I beg you, smash that like button right now. It helps the algorithm show this video to more Nigerians who need to know that help is on the way. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. We are tracking Operation Savannah Shield day by day, and you don't want to miss the updates when the army starts posting their results. Go ahead, do it now. Thank you. Now, let's talk about the Lakurawa factor. You've heard this name popping up in 2026. This is a group that originated from the Sahel, moving through Niger Republic into Nigeria. They are trying to set up a new base of operations in the north central. The attack in Woro had their signature: preaching first, then killing when the people refuse to listen. The deployment of this battalion is a direct signal to this group. Nigeria is not a playground for Sahelian terrorists. The military is bringing forest flush tactics to Kwara. Operation Forest Flush or Operation Igbodano was already active, but it was spread thin. With this new battalion, they are reinforcing the line. They are going to block the escape routes into Niger State and Benin Republic. The geography of Kaiama is tough. It is vast, it is forested, and the roads are bad. The bandits use this to their advantage, delaying the arrival of security forces during the attack. But a full battalion comes with engineers, it comes with the ability to bridge gaps, and most importantly, it comes with air cover potential. While the villagers lamented that there was no air interdiction during the attack, the new orders from the president include heightened intelligence gathering. This likely means surveillance drones and reconnaissance flights will now be constant over Kaiama. You can hide under a tree, but you can't hide your heat signature from a modern drone. We also have to talk about the local vigilantes and hunters. In the search and rescue operations going on right now, the local hunters are leading the way. They know the forest better than anyone. The synergy between this new army battalion and the local intelligence networks will be the key to success. The soldiers have the firepower, but the locals have the eyes. Governor AbdulRazaq has directed the state emergency management to flood the area with relief materials because, let's be honest, the humanitarian situation is a disaster. Thousands have fled. They are sleeping in schools, in open fields in Kaiama town. They need food, they need blankets, but most of all, they need to know that their villages are safe enough to return to. The critics are asking, why did it take a massacre for this deployment to happen? And that's a valid question. The village head mentioned that soldiers were withdrawn from the area before the attack. This is a painful lapse that needs to be investigated. Why leave a vulnerable community exposed? However, in the military, they say better late than never. The response now is overwhelming force. It is a punitive expedition. The president's use of the word rage suggests that he is taking it personally. He knows that his administration's reputation hangs on securing the lives of Nigerians. He cannot afford to let Kwara become another Zamfara. So, what should we expect in the coming days? Expect the sound of heavy artillery in Kaiama. Expect roadblocks and intense screening of movement. The army has been given a shoot-on-sight order for anyone found with a weapon in the forest who is not a state actor. The days of negotiating with these guys in Kwara are over. The language has changed from containment to elimination. And to the people of Kwara, especially those in Kaiama, Ilorin, and the border towns, this is your time to be vigilant. The bandits, once they come under heavy fire from the battalion, will try to scatter. They will try to blend into the civilian population. This is why the president called for collaboration.
If you see something strange, say something. The army is there to protect you, but they need your information. This story developing rapidly. We are waiting for the first operational briefing from the army headquarters to hear about the first contact with the enemy. Will the bandits stand and fight, or will they run back across the border? History tells us they usually run when the heat is turned up, but with Operation Savannah Shield, the goal is to cut off their retreat. We will be here monitoring every movement, every press release, and every report from the field. This is a turning point for the security of the North Central. The doom mentioned in the headline is real for these criminals. They poked the bear, and now the bear has entered the forest. Thank you for watching this extensive breakdown. This is a serious moment for our nation. Let's keep the victims of Woro and Nanku in our prayers, and let's support our troops as they march into harm's way to keep us safe.